Hello.
Hello.
Having coffee. It's morning. Please subscribe if you don't mind.
Please don't take offense if we
If we drink coffee
loudly. Someone.
I sometimes sip coffee.
Yeah, so it's business end.
Yes, definitely.
What is it? 2 more games to go for everyone.
Yes.
And it's what an interesting weekend. A couple of upsets, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, let's start at the beginning then. So obviously, Zebra drawing with Edinburgh. I thought Edinburgh has been on a bit of a high with their beating the Bulls in the Challenge Cup.
Yes.
And they are still in contention, I believe, for the URC. No, they're currently outside.
Yeah, they're not
so
in the top 8.
drawing to Zebra didn't help them there.
8. This
but
is Benny. Hello, Benny.
Benny.
Don't eat that.
But so I would see that as an upset.
Yeah.
A draw.
Yes, definitely. I mean, Zebra has been hot. They've really been playing well. Good for them.
Yeah.
Don't know what changed, but because they were absolutely the whipping boys.
They were
last
terrible,
season.
yeah.
But they've actually had, for them, a decent season if they can kick on. So that's a good result.
I think they will. Maybe next season they'll do well. But not much more to say about a draw.
No.
Just Edinburgh trying to get into the top 8, and we'll see what games are left for them in a moment.
So damn hot.
And then
coffee was a bad choice.
Then Cardiff beating Munster.
Yeah.
Maybe Munster's sort of their confidence a bit knocked after their game against the Bulls.
They looked low on confidence against the Bulls. It looks like that sort of team that's trying too hard almost. And like we said last time, Jack Crowley looks a little bit out of sorts.
Yeah.
And a few other players. It's sort of you want to do as much as you can to just get any kind of win and the pressure's on because you want to get into the top 8. So that actually dropped them into 9th.
Yeah.
We'll get to the log a bit later because there's a comment I want to make about that.
So, I mean, well done to the Welsh there. The Cardiff Blues.
Cardiff Blues look like they're safe. They should make it.
Yeah, they've still. I think they've still got a tour to South Africa,
which will be a little bit tricky.
Let's just have a look here. I think they're coming here now. Yeah, the Bulls are playing them next week.
Yeah. And
then they're playing the Stormers. So they, that was a must-win.
Yes.
And they delivered. Let's just see. So they're on 46 points. There are a few teams that can still pass them.
Yes.
Munster, Benetton, etc.
Yeah. Benetton sitting in 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be very, very interesting. It's going to change.
It's going to be
top
tight,
8's going to change. I think the top 3 or 4
are pretty much
safe. I think the Bulls have already qualified. And not because we are South African, or not to be bullish or whatever you call it, windgat.
Yeah.
To use an Afrikaans word. It's out of the countries involved in the competition, the South African teams are really hitting form.
They're hitting some form there.
Probably at the right time.
Yeah, and that's actually not something I want to see. The reason being, I do not want to play. Let's say we do make it through a quarter-final.
Yeah.
I don't want to play the Sharks or the Stormers at home in a semi, especially because we lost to them now.
Yes.
Now in the regular season.
I just don't like playing. I don't like South African teams knocking South African teams out of big competitions. So we preferably want to play.
But especially us, like we struggle. We have struggled against the Sharks. We lost to the Stormers at home. Anyway, that's
nice
neither
to play like Scarlets at home or something like that. If they can, if they can stay in the top 8.
Even Leinster, I'd prefer to play a big team. At home, Yeah. It's a bit of a travel for them, etc. Okay, so well done, Cardiff.
Yeah.
Then this was also to me a big surprise, and I think the score flatters Glasgow a little bit. 26-19 to the Bulls.
It does flatter them because it was. They scored 3 tries at the end.
I thought that we really squeezed them in the first half.
Yeah. Sorry, that's Benny.
We squeezed them in the first half. We were extremely physical. There are a few guys that went off. Some of the Glasgow guys that went off with injuries, etc.
Yeah. They I think they felt the challenge.
Yes.
In the beginning.
It seemed personal.
All throughout the game. Yeah, it did. Yeah. Because of last year's final, the Bulls really wanted to prove a point.
Yeah. Jan-Hendrik Wessel's amazing game.
Yes.
Is there anything that he can't do? Like grabber kicks, kicks for the corner.
We've spoken
passing,
about
tackling,
it a lot. Sorry to interrupt you. With in Springbok games as well, that when you over the try line and a prop pops out of nowhere and makes a try-saving tackle, it sort of breaks your spirit a bit. And you feel, yes, you had the try and you just didn't do the right stuff. It's almost like, what did I know that was.
And he came out of nowhere when he saved that
he's
try.
He's an athlete, eh?
So fast.
Yeah. Tackled guys back meters and meters, and it really played. It was man of the match. Absolutely deserved the match.
Russie's maybe taken note there.
Yes,
Goosen, I mean, I've been critical of him, but his kicking was immaculate.
Yeah, no, he played well. He really played well. He did more of what I'd want a South African fly-off to do, is to just do the basics really, really well.
Yeah.
Accurate passes. Line kicks where you kick it out. If you decide to kick it out, you kick it out and you try and make meters. If you try and do a kick down the center of the field, you kick it far and you get your guys ready to defend in a line and that sort of thing. And you just do what is expected. And he kicked every single kick. He looked super confident. It never looked as if he was going to miss a kick. And that was the difference, because both teams, for a while there, both teams scored 2 tries.
Yes.
I think it was 26-12.
Yeah.
And his kicking was the difference. Absolutely.
26-7, yeah. So
26-7 and then 26-12.
So it was a typical sort of Jake White situation, like where we squeeze them. Not a lot of flash, right? We don't score like these flashy tries, but when we get the opportunity to get points, we take the points. You know?
A few silly mistakes by Williams again. Sorry, poor guy. I mean, being held up, the ball being ripped out of his hand. A few try-scoring opportunities where he was the guy that was carrying the ball when we lost it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean,
improved.
Jonas Kirsten, everyone across the park. A few youngsters came on, and that, I think, also played a part in Glasgow getting a foothold in the game, and the Bulls taking their foot off the gas a little bit.
Wilco Low maybe a little bit lucky not to get a red.
Yeah, it wasn't very hard contact.
I'm glad, but the thing is, then it was just up to the referee to decide. You know, was this?
It didn't look as if he was trying to make the tackle. It just looked as if he was sort of
standing there
in the way.
Yeah,
almost.
But I mean, he had a great game as well. Great scrumming. We scrummed.
But saying that, their scrum off also had a head-eye tackle that was just a penalty.
Was it even a penalty?
It wasn't. I think it was a penalty. No yellow, nothing.
Yeah.
So the ref was fair both ways. I mean, Brace is always going to make a few interesting calls, but he refereed the game well, and
I think he was good.
And it shows, but give it to Glasgow, shows their pedigree that they stuck to it.
Yes.
And they
kept
themselves in the game, and they got a bonus point.
Crucial bonus point. Yeah. I mean, we'll see now. You know, initially I thought, we've got 2 Welsh teams who aren't really on fire, and then, I mean, and we'll talk about it now, but then, Cardiff beating Munster, and I think Scarlets beating Leinster. We'll talk about that now. And
that's what makes it so interesting, because we say, oh no, Edinburgh is looking good, they're in such good form and stuff, and then all of a sudden someone else steps up and they have a bit of a run of 2 good games. I mean, a while ago we were complaining about the Stormers and the Sharks. Yes, and the Stormers looked absolutely amazing.
Fire.
Yeah. Which one's next? Dude?
Okay. Lions, Connacht. I'm glad for the Lions. They really were poor against Benetton. So they recovered nicely against Connacht.
Also difficult conditions. And they really just did the basics really, really well. And Cade Voliter, his 2nd game in a row, and he was good. He marshalled the back line well, and he kicked well, and the forwards worked hard. Good handling, played with confidence. What we want to see from the Lions is them throwing the ball around a bit and interplay between props and stuff. It looked really good.
Just more accurate.
More accurate.
And I feel sorry for Connacht.
I don't think they'll make it.
But they're done now, I think.
Both those teams, I don't think will make it.
I think the Lions are also done.
Into the top 8 now.
Yeah. Then Ospreys, Dragons. Ospreys hammered the Dragons.
Yeah.
57-24, not much to say there.
No, I feel like there was a time when we thought the Ospreys...
They looked so good last season.
Rather than the Scarlets would make it into the top 8.
Yeah.
They have these great games where they play really well. But I think it's just a lack of consistency, up and down season for them. Yeah.
They might still be in contention. They're on 38 points, and like the guys in 8th position are on 41 points. So anyway, we'll wait and see with that.
Yeah.
And then Stormers, Benetton. That was an impressive display by the Stormers.
For me, the big change is Sasha.
Sasha's excellent.
Sasha being back.
Yeah.
That being the tackle in the air, and he just took that quick tap and won the chicken wing out the back door into Dan du Plessis' hands for a try. That's just a try out of absolutely nothing.
It's like
out of pure brilliance.
Like he's smooth and there's pace. You know? His timing is good.
So good. I'm happy that the Stormers look good. I mean, we want as many South African teams in there as possible. I
just don't want to play them in
I don't want to play it, especially not the way they're playing now. Because Benetton is a good team.
They're really good.
They're really, really good.
And they hammered them.
And Benetton, they were never in the game.
But look, sometimes a tour goes like that. They played very well against the Lions, and then fade in the second game. Then the big upset, but we'll discuss it now. Leinster probably playing with like their third strings, but Scarlets Leinster 35-22.
Unfortunately, there were other games on at that time, and I couldn't watch the game, so I only know the results. So maybe feel free to comment if there's anything to add to that. But I assume they are definitely going to end top of the log, and they're resting guys, and they're giving opportunity and so on. It couldn't have been their first team, but still,
far ahead.
They've got so much depth. We know that it's never easy to beat any Leinster team. So good for the Scarlets, and it got them into the top 8, even though it might be temporary.
Leinster would have to lose their next 2 games without bonus points, and the Bulls would have to win with bonus points the next 2 games just for the Bulls to get ahead. Leinster, they're solidified at the top. And then also a bit of an upset, Ulster Sharks. Sharks looked poor in the first half. They looked like they had nothing.
It's an exciting finish.
Very exciting.
They just kept themselves in the game. Where was the game played? Over there.
It was in Belfast.
Sorry, I just couldn't remember. So any away win is good, and a little bit of continuity at the right time shows all those test caps and experienced players. Mapimpi scoring to win the game. A very, very good finish.
What did you think of that pass that was ruled forward? Where they disallowed the try from the Sharks in the first half. I thought that was a bit harsh.
I thought it was a bit harsh as well.
Obviously, Ulster fans will disagree.
And it's also those things. I mean, it takes the wind out of your sails, and then it's difficult to build again from scratch. To eventually win the game showed a lot of character.
Interesting though for me is it seems like Fassi I think he's learned something from Billy a little bit. Like his passes are just on the margin,
rather pass it a little bit more backwards and not so flat.
But I mean,
make it a little bit easier for the ref. It does,
tries, so.
Well, if he wants to cement his spot, he's got to try and emulate Villy, I think.
And I think he is. He's doing very well.
So good for the South African teams. 3 teams in the top 8. Log-wise, currently,
I would love to tell you my phone just went flat, but
oh goodness!
But
it's fine.
But from memory now, it's
only the Leinsters. What I wanted to say that currently it will probably change. I think Munster will go into the top 8, but currently there's only one Irish team in the top 8. And that's something that they'll really be disappointed with. And it's
sort of like their season at an international level as well. Sort of not at their usual best.
And it's also all their eggs are in one basket, Like most of the Irish caps play for Leinster. And you've got guys coming off the bench playing for Leinster who sometimes get starts for Ireland, which is great for them, but not that great for the other unions. I'm not sure.
We don't know.
Coaches, if you were a coach If you think of Springbok eras, it was times when the Bulls did really well. Back in the day, 95 World Cup, it was Transvaal that had all the Springboks.
Think about the Crusaders. Remember the Crusaders when it was like basically the All Blacks team.
Yeah, because you just basically pick the core of that team.
And the Aussies as well.
Team. Yes,
so
the Brumbies. And
I think, at one stage
it was the
Queensland.
The Reds back in 90. Also in the 90s, it was the Reds.
Yeah, I think in their heyday, the Aussies in the 90s, I think that was Queensland. It was John Eales and those guys.
Yes, with George Gregan and stuff. Yeah.
So there is this theory that actually those guys must all play. We think about the Jaguares.
Yes.
When Argentina were at their best.
Yes.
Is when basically they were playing their national team in Super Rugby.
Yeah, you feel sorry for the other unions because they get what's left over. You've got a few guys that play. Tyke Byrne at Munster and a few other oaks. There are quite a few other teams with caps. Hansen at Connacht and a few others, but obviously we all know the core is at Leinster.
Yeah.
Okay, but interesting 2 weeks to come. It will change.
It will change.
We hope the 3 South African teams stay up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.